Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Staying safe. I do apologize if this video is going up late. This video was supposed to go up Friday, but again, like I said, it was just a very, very long week, kind of stressful week. And this video is actually epic. This is Friday's episode. So before we get into it, there's some things I need to say up front. Tuesday, I'm hoping that this upcoming week will be a better week. We'll be back on track. Episode 5, episode 6. I have an announcement about March Madness. Stay tuned for that. And also to my first Wnba mock draft. I know I'm pretty much late to the party, but I sat back, I had all the notes. I'll make an announcement about that in this episode. This is episode 4. So today's episode, we're focused on the NFC North. This is pretty much, we were getting ready for the off-season. Free agency is going to start, and in the draft too. So last episode, we did the AFC North, and now we're doing the NFC North. Tuesday's episode, we're probably going to do AFC. I don't know yet. We'll see. Friday, it was day 85 of the strike. There was some progress. Monday is actually the deadline for them to come up with the deal, or they're going to have to cancel the first week of games. So, see. And then my topic for unsung African American heroes in sports, Bob Gibson. And then the Washington Wizards played the Spurs Friday, and then we played the Cavs Saturday. We lost 2 of those games. Maryland basketball, we did lose to Indiana. However, it was our 20th anniversary Sunday. Won the national championship back in 2002 against Ohio State. So we played them today. And the women finished off the year, their season, on a good win against Indiana. I'm also going to talk about Towson Basketball. WNBA free agency, there's really not much going on. Pretty much, you just got some teams signing training camp contracts. I think I think at this point we're getting ready for the draft, and also too because there are some girls that are overseas. And again, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to those in the Ukraine. No war, peace. War just never solves anything. It doesn't. So I'm just sending my prayers to those in the Ukraine. I do know that there are a lot of athletes over there. Even particularly reading some, a lot of them are trying to find their way home. A few WNBA ball players. I know, like, for example, I think Tianna Hawkins. I know she plays for the Ukraine. I think their team went to Bulgaria. So it's going to continue to just pray. Let's just continue to pray for them. Athletes Unlimited was finished on Saturday. After 5 weeks, that was fast. It truly was fast. And making us with the mock draft. And I'm talking about Tiana Hawkins. There's an article written by Khristina Williams. Shout out to Khristina Williams. I want to share her piece on her. And also to talk about Tiana Hawkins. I do. So that's episode 4. So let's get into the off-season focus. NFL edition, NFC North. Starting with the division champions, who didn't get that far, the Green Bay Packers. A couple things. Not really but with the Packers, I have some questions. The biggest issue is what are you going to do about Aaron Rodgers? They haven't gotten to a point where they're kind of now in a position where I think they need to reset. And I don't really know what I'm trying to find the right words because the Packers are a good team, but they've gotten to the conference championship one time. On paper, this team is supposed to be the best in the NFL. I think personally, they are a good regular season team, and you got to ask yourself a couple questions. Can you resign Devontae Adams? Aaron Rodgers, supposedly he was wanting to be the highest paid NFL player with over $50 million a year. Um, that makes absolutely no sense to me, especially for a team that's strapped in cap, and they're gonna have to really figure some things out. I don't think you can re-sign everybody. Um, I think again, I I don't have anything against Aaron Rodgers. If he was available and my team needed a quarterback, I'd sign him. But I do feel like he is holding the Green Bay Packers hostage to some extent. I do. He's gotten everything that he's wanted, and he's not lived to me, in my true opinion, he's not living up to his side of the bargain. I'm looking at a couple things. Um, Besides Devontae Adams, they got to figure out who they're going to bring back, who they're not. Zadarius Smith is somebody most likely that's not going to come back because I think he has like $28 million against the cap, um, according to Spot Track. Then you got to think about Preston Smith because Rashawn Gray, he's been playing really well. Mercedes Lewis, he's getting older. Randall Cobb, Billy Turner, Mason. I mean, there's a lot of guys on that free agents that they could cut actually. Um, then you got to think about Adam Alan Lazard, Valdez Scantling, um, Rasul Douglas. They don't have the money, and they are almost a negative $50 million in the hole. They're over the cap, so they don't have a lot of room to make maneuvers. They're the Packers. I think they're going to have to really figure out what they're going to do. Do they commit to Aaron Rodgers for another year, run it back, or do they just say enough's enough? I think people did. I felt like, again, it was Jordan Love's first game. I think he was thrown completely. He wasn't really prepared, and that may have to be your guy if because I don't know what's going to happen next year if Green Bay doesn't get past the NFC Championship. They're in the same boat. So I know they have the 20th overall pick. I'd say they could pretty much use the rebuild their offensive line and their defensive line. Probably look for a linebacker. So um, the Packers got some serious decisions to make. Then let's move on. Well, I forgot to point out that the Minnesota Vikings, the $46 million experiment on defense failed. Let's just get that out there. They do have a new head coach in Cal O'Connell. Kirk Cousins spoke up for him to be the head coach. That's your highest paid player on the team. I'm looking at their free agents. They've got a boatload of free agents. I know Patrick Peterson's one, Sheldon Richardson, Nick Virgil, Mackenzie Alexander, something like that. Tyler Conklin. They got a lot. Okay, they got a lot of free agents. And they're not looking too good either. I think they're almost $16 million over the cap, according to Spy Track, what I read, and they're going to have to make some decisions too. Kirk Cousins, I ain't gonna lie, they're going to figure something out. He's got, I think, the way his contract is set up, I think it's like a 2-year. He's in the last year of the extension he signed, and that has a $45 million cap hit. They're going to have to figure that out. That's, according to what I on Spot Track, that's 20% of the Vikings' total cap for the team. His base salary is 15. Like, they're going to have to figure what they're going to do with that. Either he's going to have to restructure, or they're going to have to trade him. I ain't gonna lie, the guy, he's a good quarterback, but what has he done for me lately? They've kind of regressed. I would think when you have pieces like, and I get it, Thielen got hurt at the end. I like Justin Jefferson, Conklin, Dalvin Cook. They really, honestly, they haven't gotten better as a team. They're going to have to figure something out. I mean, if they just keep the same team where it's at currently, in my personal opinion, the Minnesota Vikings, I'll say they'll win 9 games and won't make the playoffs.
Guaranteed.
I just don't think. The Vikings, they're going to look. They're another one. They're going to have to not a rebuild mode, but a reset mode. I don't think you can go any further with Kirk Cousins. This is just what you're going to get. He's a good quarterback, but that team's getting older, and that experiment on defense failed. So, no. And they have the 12th pick. I mean, they could pretty much go out and anything they want. I'd say their biggest needs I looked was corner, offensive line, and they can buff up the linebackers. Probably the edge, because since it can pretty much buff up anyone on the defensive line. Because I don't know what we're going to do about Michael Pierce neither. Michael Pierce from a Raven, but they got some serious decision making too. Because Michael Pierce, I think he only played 8 games this year, and I think last year he didn't even play because of COVID. He made the choice of sitting out. So my next team is the Chicago Bears. Okay, now biggest questions is now you got your new head coach and new GM. Where are things going for Chicago? What is Justin Fields' development going to look like, and the team around him going to look like? Now, they have $27 million according to Spot Track, $27 million in cap space to make some moves. The biggest free agents that stood out to me was Allen Robinson, Akeem Hicks, Andy Dalton, and then I think the offensive lineman James Daniels. They could, according to Spot Check, what I read, they want to keep Nick Foles. That's their choice. And Eddie Goldman. Those were 2 that stood out. They're going to have to figure out their running back situation. You got a lot of running backs. And also, too, how can you implement that running game along with Justin Fields? I really feel like they should go for a big star. I think they can look for somebody in the offseason. I don't think they can, for example, I don't think they can pull someone like a Devontae Adams. I think what they need to do is build a team around Justin Fields, like they're doing with Lamar Jackson. Build receivers, give another 2-3 years ready to compete. Because my concern is that team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. You're already starting to see it kind of start to. I doubt Akeem Hicks will re-sign with Chicago, and you're going to figure out what you're going to do about Eddie Jackson, Khalil Mack. You're going to have to pay Roquan Smith at some point. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think the Bears will do just fine. Now, they, according to what I saw, their draft should be okay. Let me see. I think they have five draft picks. Let's just see really quick. Yeah, they don't have 5 draft picks. Yeah, they don't have a first round pick. They have a second, a third, 2 fifths, and a sixth. That 5th round pick came from Houston. Whew. And so they're not going to be even in the first round. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. I mean, I'd say their biggest need is rebuilding the offensive line. Look for a wide receiver. Start rebuilding the defense. Because my concern is I don't think you can keep a Khalil Mack there for that much longer. Because I know his desire is to win. And I think that's the only way I could think Chicago has to do in the offseason. Revamp that offensive line, get a wide receiver or two, and rebuild that defense. I think the Bears would be all right. I see the Bears making a wild card. Guaranteed. And let's move on to the Detroit Lions. If you held my feet to the fire, did I expect them to go 0-17 this year? Yes. They finished the year off 13-3-1. There were a couple of bright spots. Okay. Let me just say this. I'm not saying that Jared Goff got traded to the Detroit Lions. He made him better. I do believe that Jared Goff is getting flack, in my opinion, for the wrong reasons because of how, as a team, they performed in the Super Bowl 2 years ago against New England. But that's a completely different. All right, that's a whole other story for another day. They have some talent. The free agents, nothing really to sneeze at. They have a little under $20 million in cap. They can make some moves. I think pretty much everyone is saying they need to go out and draft a quarterback. Okay, that's how you feel. My question is, so what's the excuse if a Sam Howell or Malik Willis or even a Kenny Pickett or a Bailey Zapp, if they're there and they're drafted, okay, they don't pan out, then what's the excuse? Because we can't keep saying, we could keep saying the Detroit Lions are a mediocre franchise and blah, 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 blah. I'm saying you're going to put another young quarterback out there. You're going to feed him to the wolves. When you have a guy that's a decent starter, and I think if you actually looked at that, and if you watch those few games, those games weren't bad. Now, they have the second pick and then the number 32 overall pick. I'm saying that they need to continue, I'd say, build around Jared Goff, particularly start getting him with the offensive line. And I'd say also look for the wide receiver. It wouldn't hurt. They could also, too, start buffing up their defense. I think the Detroit Lions, they have a good source of talent. I like Jamal Williams. I like DeAndre Swift. It's just, what are you going to do now? And even what you have right currently, Amon St. Brown is could be the number one wide receiver. You got TJ Hawkins coming back healthy. I feel like the Lions, they have the pieces. I think they're going to be another year or two away from competing, but they have a good culture right now with Dan Campbell, excuse me. They're building a good culture. I just think if you draft a quarterback right now, you're kind of resetting and you're kind of going right back into what you were before. Let's see what Jared Goff can do with this team. Let's see what they build around him. And if it don't work, look for another quarterback. I just don't think – I'm not saying he's this all-pro quarterback. I just don't really see – why would I turn around and say, well, after 1 year, he didn't get my team this, or I'm not sold on him, when the team around him was not that good neither. You know what I mean? But I in my personal opinion, I think a lot of – because of how he performed and how the team performed in that Super Bowl, I think there's why people are like, I'm not sold on Jared Goff. So I still believe the Detroit Lions will finish last in the NFC North. I do. But they're on the upcoming. So let's definitely watch out for them. Let's transition to news around the NFL. Douglas, he former quarterback at Grambling State, is made a kill. He came out and said that he's very disappointed. He's not supporting the hiring of Art Briles. Art Briles was a former head coach at Baylor, and back in 2016, he was fired after, we all know, the sexual assault scandals that happened. And I have a couple of questions about that. When you're a star, when you think of Grambling State, not only do you think of the great Eddie Robinson, may he rest in peace, but you also think of Doug Williams. When you have an alumni come out and speak against, and I agree with it, of this hiring, that says a lot. And especially when he comes out and says he cannot support an HBCU because the behavior. Art Briles, I'm all for about a person getting a second chance. I think in life, we're all imperfect people. We make mistakes, but I hope that we learn and grow from those mistakes. Art Briles has gotten opportunities to make it right, and it's not happened. And I really think that this was a desperation card for Hugh Jackson. Because it says more about, one, Hugh Jackson, and also, two, it says a lot about the athletic director at Grambling State. Because there's no reason how I would hire a guy. If you could spell out his record when he was at Baylor, he was 65-37. He went to 2 Big 12 championships. But when you are a leader of young men, and where you hear there is 52 allegations against, at the time, 30 of your players that happened under your watch. The same thing with Jerry Sandusky at Penn State. It happened under your watch. Now, I believe there's one player, I can't think of his name, he's still actually serving. He's serving 20 years. He's still in prison for what he did at Baylor. Now, Hugh Jackson, I don't have any beef with him, but I am disappointed because it's the same Hugh Jackson that came out in the midst with Brian Flores in a lawsuit stating, "Well, with Cleveland, when I was in Cleveland, they paid me to tank games too," and then come to find out that wasn't true. Then he doubled down and said, "Well, I understood what he was saying because that's what it felt like to me." Two totally different things. Like, we're not talking about what Hugh Jackson does for the community or whatnot. That's two totally different things. We're talking about is how could you not do your research on a guy that has a history? Not saying that I'm just saying that how can I bring a guy, anybody on a coaching staff with that checkered of a past? How can I do that? Now, at the time, the NCAA committee, they couldn't come to a conclusion to say if Baylor or even Coach Browse violated any rules by not reporting anything of sexual assaults or anything on campus. But because of that doesn't mean that he gets a pass for what he did. It's more about, here was you as a coach, you could have put your foot down and said, that's not how you represent this football program, and it damn sure is not how you represent this college. I have been told growing up by my parents, when you go, or especially when I started school, when you go on that campus, not only do you represent yourself, but you represent your family, and you hold yourself, and the school holds you to a certain standard. When you fuck up and make mistakes, you expect the consequences, especially when you're on a college campus. What is this hiring really saying? Like, how do those players at Grambling State feel about this guy being hired? Now, the vote could be turned around and say, no, let's not hire this guy. Because Grambling State's already been through enough. Remember a few years ago with the whole the players protesting about their training facility, how it was in poor condition and different things like that. And I'm trying to sit here and figure out, like, well, they should be getting money. So where'd that go? I already know the answer to that. Someone asked me this. Someone asked me this conversation, and we were talking about it. He said, and they said, well, if they win, does that absolve him for what he did? No, it doesn't, because it didn't absolve anything at Baylor. They were winning games, but it caught up with them. I mean, okay, that's great. You sat down and talked with him. You're all about giving. You want. I'm not comfortable with the hire. I'm not. I don't like it. When you go back and look at the allegations, it dates from all the way from 2012 to 2007 until 2016 when he was fired. I mean, it's bad. I mean, could you? I mean, I just don't really see where I would think, particularly at HBCU, you could have hired anybody else, but you hired Art Briles. And it's not against Art Briles, but I'm saying that, okay, who was out? You couldn't find anybody else. There's no option B, C. when you're a former quarterback, because Doug Williams, he did coach. I think it was from '97 until about '03, and then he coached again just a couple years ago. That's just say a lot. That should. Lionel James, he former running back, went to the University of Auburn, played for those San Diego Chargers. Yes, the San Diego Chargers from 1984, 1988. He was actually on the 40th anniversary team. He passed away on the 25th of this month. 59 years old. Rest in peace, Mr. Lionel James. He finished his career, had 1,061 yards in rushing and 2,278 yards in receiving, 16 touchdowns. His record for receiving yards was broken by the one and only Marshall Faulk in '99. And then Derek Mason broke his all-purpose yards in 2000 for 2,690 yards. He was drafted in the 5th round out of Auburn University. He also played with the great Bo Jackson. So rest in peace, Mr. James. Let's transition to Major League Baseball. This was the strike. Oh, really quick, before I transition to that, I apologize. I believe Troy Aikman's close to making a deal about being on Monday Night Football. That's not finalized yet. Now, as far as my mock draft goes for the NFL draft, because first round, I'm going to have that out to you guys Tuesday's episode. So be on the lookout for that. It's just going to be one. It's going to be my first one without trades. And then we're probably going to get into 2.0. I'm going to collab with Nick Rosario on that. My 2.0 will probably come out soon, but be on the lookout for the mock draft. Now let's officially transition into Major League Baseball. So far, there's been some progress, but it's not looking good. And they have until the 28th, Monday, to get a deal done. And they don't. That's regular season games. The season could be shortened. Because they already canceled more spring training games, and it's not looking good. What I understood, the Player Association, they were not happy, and they're pretty much considering, we're not coming to an agreement, so therefore we're done. Look, I understand what the players want. I truly do. But at the end of the day, they had a few opportunities to make this right a couple years ago, and now it's like they're making up for lost ground. I'm really do hoping they get a deal done. I really do. So, because the way it's looking, I don't even think Monday there'll be no deal. Guaranteed. I don't see it, because I think that just the way the Players Association is, and then what Rob Manfred is, neither side's budging what they want. They gave up on they agreed to some things, but the biggest thing is the luxury tax, and I guarantee you that's pretty much the issue. And then the revenue sharing, those and other things. Both sides aren't budging on that. So we as the fans, we got to sit there and we got to suffer without baseball. So I guarantee that the season's going to be shortened. Let's transition into Unsung African American Heroes in Sports, where I highlight a player, coach, what they may have done in any sport, whether it's basketball, football, baseball. They could have been the first to do something in that sport. So far, I highlighted on some great players. check out the previous episodes if you've not already. Last episode I did John Thompson. The previous episode I did Big House Games as examples. This episode, which was supposed to be Friday's episode, we're doing we're talking about Mr. Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson was the first African American to win Cy Young, also 9-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, NL MVP, played for the St. Louis Cardinals from 1959 to 1975. Cannot say enough about Bob Gibson. One, I think he is the first. First MVP World Series MVP. I really, just a side quick, I play MLB The Show. Bob Gibson is a cheat code to a certain extent. Really quick. He actually was supposed to, he got interested in playing with the Harlem Globetrotters. And he signed with the Cardinals in 1957. He got a $3,000 bonus, which at that time, that was some money. So he did play basketball. He didn't. I think when he signed with the Cardinals, he stuck with it. Couple notes: his best year was 1966. He won 1970. He won 23 games, lost 7. His record speaks for itself: 251 wins, 174 losses. He struck out 3,117 batters. His record in the live ball era, the last 4, he shutout champion. He shares that record with Warren Spahn and Pete Alexander. 9 consecutive Gold Gloves from 1965, 1973. His ERA in the 1968, known as the Year of the Pitcher, was probably the best ERA that he had. And then also, too, he struck out 17 batters in Game 1 of the 1968 World Series. He also threw 13 shutouts that year. He broke Grover Cleveland Alexander's record. Because in 1916 he threw 16 of those. He was 3 short of breaking his record because Alexander threw 16. Not until Clayton Kershaw, Bob Gibson was the only MVP that year. And also, too, I think it was someone named on the American League side, the same thing. I don't think any pitcher in the American League since, I think his name is Denny McLean, has won an MVP since then. I think every other year it's just been hitters. Because let me Google him real quick. Because yes, I'm right. Because he went 31-6, and yeah, that's the only 2 times that it went to a pitcher in the NL and NL and AL. 1968, Bob Gibson won in the NL, and then Danny McCray won in the American League. They played the Detroit Tigers, and they're saying that, for what I read, that Dan McClain and Bob Gibson, those were the 2 key factors for leading their teams to the World Series. Also, too, Bob Gibson and Mr. McClain, their record performance seasons are the reason why the mound has been lowered from 15 to 10 inches. And also, too, reducing the strike zone to what it is today. And also to, so Bob Gibson. All the reasons why the pitching mound is lower today. Really quick, also too, I just want to go off his stats. He won the Cy Young in 1968, 1970, World Series MVP 1964, 1967. Was a winner at NL and wins 1970. ERA leader in 1968, strikeout leader in 68. He pitched a no-hitter in 1971. His number 45 is retired by the Cardinals. He's also in the Cardinal Hall of Fame. Major League Baseball Century Team in 1981, 84% on the first ballot. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame. By then, after I think it was in 1970, after the no-hitter, going into like the last 4 years of his career, he was just plagued with injuries. He wasn't really the same. I think he had a lot of knee issues, and particularly with his knee, he retired. Now, sadly, he did pass away back in 2020. He had pancreatic cancer. So that was shocking because we lost a couple of baseball players. I think even I want to say there's a couple of them that threw me off. But when I found that he passed away, I was hurt. I was shocked by that. It's amazing, man. Like his stats, like that's unrealistic. It's not unrealistic to me, but I mean, you don't really have a lot of pitchers that could do that. Not today. I mean, you have some pitchers. I mean, maybe Clayton Kershaw could do it. But I'm talking about in terms of just his ability. I mean, his best year. He's never. I mean, like 1 year in 1963, he threw 204 strikeouts, 245 strikeouts. One other year, 270. I mean, to throw an ERA of 112, that's immaculate pitching. Immaculate pitching. There's no way you can't say that's a damn good pitcher right there. So rest in peace, Bob Gibson. I think also, fun fact, I think he is the second pitcher behind Walter Johnson in career strikeouts. I don't think no one's going to touch Walter. I think it went. No, I think it can be touched. I don't think the wins as a pitcher, because Cy Young has 512, I think it is 511. I don't think that could be touched. You have to play at least. You have to get at least 20 wins, 25 a year. You'd probably have to play for a good 15, 17 years. Not with today's pitchers. That's impossible. Let's transition into the NBA for the Wizards. Our second half of the season started Friday. We played the Spurs and we lost. We lost in overtime. 157, 153.
What? What? And you got to be kidding me.
I mean, it actually, to me, was a good game. But still, I saw some mistakes that still really need to be addressed. San Antonio got to the foul line 43 times compared to our 24, and we also got out rebounded. And some of those, I think it was like 16 points. No, 16 of the rebounds were offensive. I like I said, we have to start on the defensive side of the ball. We can't come out like that. I mean, you had Keldon Johnson had 32 points. Jacob Pilati had 28. I mean, we can't have that. I mean, Kuz had 36. KCP and Raul, KCP had 24. Raul and Nito had 23, 22. But just small, just little mistakes. I felt like at overtime, I knew the game was over. I just looked at the stats, and when you're sending your team, you're sending your opponent to the foul line that many times, so you're getting out rebounded. It shows. Don't get me wrong. We got to get back. We got to. I mean, I think we get. I mean, again with adjustments, I think that we can be better. But I'm actually not mad at that. The first game out the All-Star break. I'm optimistic to see where it goes. I mean, congratulations to Rick Popovich. I think he's only one win from passing Lenny Wilkins' record. But the game, to me, we had this game won if Dejounte Murray did not miss, if he didn't miss that game-winning shot. Two in the first overtime. So losing in double overtime to the Spurs, I'm actually not mad at that. I'm not. Also, too, Lonnie Walker had 23 off the bench, and Murray had a triple-double. So defensive-wise, we got to clean up some things. And then on top of that, too, we came out and we lost to the Cavs. 92-86. Just couldn't finish games. I mean, we're like that's kind of been the biggest thing takeaway from the season as well. We have a tendency of not finishing games. This was a game we should have won. Offensively, Cleveland had a bad shooting game. Their offense pretty much came from paint. I mean, pick and roll, high post, low post shots. That's where most of their game came from. That's how they scored 44 of their points in the paint. I mean, they had some guys making some shots that kept them in the game. But, I mean, the first half, I'm disappointed. I was disappointed in the first half. We didn't take advantage of their performance. And then by the second half, okay, we started to pick it up. But I do think that Washington struggles to really, really close games out. And I don't know if it's again system, or we just are lacking a true leader on the floor. I mean, that's what it showed to me. And then we got a former draft pick and Thomas Sanaranski back. The Spurs, they parted ways with him, and he agreed to a buyout. I like the move. In theory, it should work. One, because Raheem and Riley played together, defense, and then I think also too, if you look about it, I still think that length. I think he definitely brings something to the team. He could definitely bring a lot than what we've had to work with this year. I'm not saying that the move won't work. I definitely think he's a viable option. Let's just say it like that. So welcome back, Thomas. I would probably expect him to get some minutes right away, but Thomas Bryant also too. Did he play? No, he did play. He only had 16 minutes in that game, and then Kristaps still didn't play. So far, Denny's the only one I think that's legitimately played every game because this was game 60. So we got to play the Detroit Pistons, who beat the Hornets on the Kelly Olynyk fadeaway. So let's transition to news around the NBA. Really not much is going on there. Markelle Fultz, he's supposed to actually be back Monday since he tore his ACL last year. So I'm glad to see him back out there. I mean, as far as a few other stuff, I think we're just really starting to get up back into the world, the feel of things with everyone playing back after All-Star break. Kyrie could play some home games. The whole thing about Zion, the Philadelphia 76ers, and they've been playing really well since they got James Harden. So I still think that it's going to be them and the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Guaranteed.
Ben Simmons still, I think he's had a knee injury, so he didn't play. Be on the lookout for who could be my top 5 MVPs. I'll probably put that out too Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening around the NBA. Let's transition into Maryland basketball. This was the last week for the women as they're getting ready for the Big Ten tournament. For the men, they got a couple games. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was having some internet issues. I had to fix it really quick. As I was saying, this is it for the ladies. The men, they lost to Indiana. But 20 years ago, Sunday, the little team won the national championship. And Maryland, the men beat Ohio State. So let's start with Indiana. Unfortunately, we lost 74-64 on the road.
What the hell was that? Hey, what the hell? You freaking kidding me?
Okay, so notes. Inconsistency. Like there were periods in that game where we would go on these runs and we just didn't capitalize on it. We really didn't. I mean, it was a back and forth game. I mean, there'd be one point where we're up 4, we're down 4, they're up 6, they're down 6. Like that just I don't know I don't really know how to explain it. Like at one point we were down 10 and then we came back. Like I have said it. I'm going to continue to be on the record. We have just no identity on offense, and it's clearly showed. Don't get me wrong. In the first half, I mean, like we went into the second half. We were down 3. Couple notes: shooting 40% from the field, 7 turnovers. That can't happen. Hart. I'm sorry, Hart. Not Dante Hart. That's Dante Scott. Hart and Fats Russell had 16 of their points. And then on top of that, they shot 9 of 25.
Relationship with your
Oh
children.
my God.
And then to just make it, I don't know. We were down 3, but I mean, just shooting under 40%. That just didn't look. That didn't look right. Now, I will say this. Now, again, we went against Mike Woodson. His top player was Trace Jackson Davis. We contained him because he's averaging almost 18 a game and 9 rebounds, and he's last time we saw him, I think he had 17 points. Now we had him contained, but like their second best player on the team was Mr. Race Thompson, who he is second on their leaderboard. No answers for him. None. I mean, we contained their star player, but had no answers for the others. Like Xavier Johnson had 24. Couldn't stop it. No answers. And then also too, like again, I was sitting there going, "Oh, okay, maybe there'll be a comeback." It didn't happen. I mean, last 2 games, I mean, they were great, but let's just keep it what it is. I mean, we're a middle of the road team. I mean, Indiana before playing us, they haven't really been a good team. They lost 5 straight, and some of those games they lost by 10 or more points. But Maryland, we haven't proven we can beat someone outside the Big Ten. Last time we saw them was someone that's in the Big Ten, we haven't shown we can beat them. I don't count Rutgers. I mean, that was a good win, but like to me, we beat weaker teams. Penn State. I mean, other than coming out losing by 1 to Purdue, what have we really truly done this year in the Big Ten? That's what I'm saying. Like next year, whoever they decide to hire, they're going to have to bring something different to the table. I mean, I didn't realize when Mark Turgeon left, I didn't know it was this bad. I'm not saying these guys can't play, but I'm talking no offensive identity. There's lapses on just defense, not that great. It's how you go about things. It's how you set the tone for the culture. It's it's going to have to be a lot of self-reflecting because this Maryland team is better than that. I mean, we covered up a lot of stuff, and it just couldn't longer be covered. Now, who do I think could be a replacement? There's a couple out there. We'll get into that in a future episode after the season. Now, we played Ohio State. And we won that game 75-60. Congratulations, Mr. Fax Russell. Got reached to 2,000 points. Did really well out there. So far, last 5 games, he's averaged over 20 points. He finished the game with 27. I know this is his last year. He's a senior. Tremendous basketball. Eric Ayala, we know he really has been the same since that wrist injury. Had 11 points. Did okay. Had 13 points in the first half. The defense looked a lot better. Again, I've always felt like when you go to the Xfinity Center, you're getting a lot of energy from that crowd. And that's what I saw. We held the Buckeyes to under 40% from the field and under 20% from three. E.G. Little, that's their best player, had only 7 points in the first half. And then the last time we saw them, I think he dropped 24 points in our head. He finished the game with 11 points. Hakeem Hart. He looked good out there. I mean, like, these guys show flashes. I mean, like, this notion that we're actually 500 and they actually went out there. And mind you, this was the 20th anniversary. 20 years ago, we won the national championship. I would say that's a different Maryland team I saw out there than what I saw Thursday against Indiana. And also, too, I gotta give. I know I have been on the bench a lot this year. Julian Reese, Ian Martinez, Xavier Green. My only thing is, I mean, they got some help. I mean, the bench, they've stepped up because Eric Ayala. Now with him back, I mean, you only got really, 2 games left? However, I will say this. Only 50 minutes and 2 points. That's all they could give me. Something. But it's nothing. And don't even get me started with Danny Manning on the use of his bench. Don't even get me started on that. I'm happy. I mean, the biggest thing until we was our defense. Our defense put a huge role in that game. It did. I mean, that's what I was kind of looking for the whole season for Maryland. They have the potential to be a decent team, but I just didn't really see that. this year. So I'm happy we won on the anniversary. It was great to see Coach Williams there. Juan Dixon, Steve Blake, that Maryland Terrapins team. I think, just for the record, the next year, I think it's Chris Gatling. That's who it is. I mean, actually, it really wouldn't have mattered. The name of the Old Dominion. I'm thinking of someone else. I think we either had a couple guys that are getting ready to graduate. Hold on, really quick. I just have to see. Chris Wilcock, that's who it was. He was a sophomore. If he'd have stayed, Lonnie Baxter was a senior. Calvin McCall was a senior. Errol Badu was a senior. Juan Dixon was a senior. I mean, that whole team we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seniors. So, I mean, Chris Wilcock ended up going going into the draft, and then the next year, Steve Blake, he left. He was drafted by the Wizards in 2003. So actually, I don't think that made a difference because everybody was we had a lot of juniors and seniors on that roster. We finished that year 15-1 in the conference, ACC, and we're 32-4. We beat Duke University. Because Duke was actually the number 1 school. We were the number 14. They were 13-3 in the ACC, but they were 31-4. That was crazy. I think Juan Dixon got All-American. Gary Williams is Coach of the Year. Lonnie Baxter, I think, got All-American. I think he was also like the most outstanding player that year. I was like, let's look. We lost to number 1 Duke. Just real quick, the ACC tournament, we lost to North Carolina State. Senna, Wisconsin, number 16 Kentucky, number 10 Connecticut, number 2 Kansas, and then Indiana. That's crazy. That's really crazy. The only 3 schools we lost to Arizona that year, number 22 Oklahoma, and then that was it. And then also to North Carolina State. So those are only 4 losses. Man, how old was I when we won that championship? Had to be like 7. Had to be. I was 7 years old when won the national championship. I think I still have this. That's not the shirt. I don't even know what happened to that shirt. It's around here somewhere. Somewhere right in the closet. But yeah, man, it was 20. I can't believe it was 20 years ago. Wow. We'll be back there one day. I'm confident we'll get there. I think I feel like the men need a coach that's going to take this program from here to here. I believe it's possible. I do.
Guaranteed.
Let's transition to the women. It was their last game. Almost lost this game. 67-64.
I'm not going to even sit here and act like I didn't know this was coming. Or act like I know this was coming because I did it.
Great game, down to the wire. I thought the game was over when they made the corner 3 because it was 65-64. I like the fact that we took advantage of the full shot clock. And then why not? The ball went into to me, I think she's been our floor general to me. who's been a reliable shooter, and Katie Benson. Came down with a floater. I just, these girls, they've been through a lot this year. Unfortunately, we didn't get the number 1 seed. We got the win, but fate said otherwise. So we got a double bye. We lost to them back in January 70-63. So whoever won this game will get a double bye. And then the loser has to play in Thursday's second round. This is for the Big Ten tournament. Ashley Wansu didn't play because she was sick. Hope she gets better soon. And also too, Tiana Hawkins. She hasn't been playing. She didn't play at all. So, I mean, couple things I took away from the game. Energy. Everyone again at the Xfinity Center brought energy. We started off the game really well. Angel Reese, man. I can't say enough about her. I really, really think that she needs to be considered for All-American. I do. Just in the first quarter, she had 6 points, 4 rebounds. Diamond Miller, Cheyenne Sellers. Diamond Miller, I still think could be a WNBA prospect. I still need to, she did well. She could play. I like her game on both sides of the floor. I still think it needs some work. Again, like, this is a team I'm not going to fall asleep. We cannot sneeze or fall or not take this team serious when it comes to, especially when we get into March Madness. Yes, I feel like a lot of their offense came from 3-point shots. Yes, we shot under 35% from the field, but we also shot 75% from 3. Now in the second half, I did understand we weren't that aggressive, but I understand. And again, like I said, Angel Reese, she finished the game with 20 points, 16 rebounds. Now she did get injured, but came back in the game. But she is, to me, her presence in the paint, whether it's in the post or rebounding, no answers. Like, yeah, they had Indiana has, their owns and I think in Holmes. I can't think of her first name, but I know her last name's Holmes. But Angel Reese, like, I feel like the only way you can beat Maryland is if you get her in foul trouble. That's what Michigan did. Also, too, you're gonna have to double her. That's the only way I can feel like you can beat Maryland. But they had no answers. And again, like, said we won. I could see the Maryland Lady Terrapins getting to the Final Four.
Guaranteed.
Now, before we get to the Final Four, I also too want to point this out. So the Big Ten tournament looks like this. So you've got Rutgers versus Penn State, Illinois versus Wisconsin. This is on March 2nd. And then Thursday, March 3rd, you've got Purdue versus Michigan State. The winner of that game plays the number 1 seed, Ohio State. Then you've got Indiana. So the winner of the Rutgers and Penn State game plays Indiana. Minnesota versus Northwestern. And then the winner of the Illinois-Wisconsin game plays Nebraska Thursday. Then your number 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds, Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan, and then Maryland. So whoever wins between after Indiana, whoever wins this game plays Maryland. Whoever beats Minnesota, whoever wins between the Minnesota and Northwestern game plays Iowa. And then whoever wins from the North Illinois-Wisconsin game plays Nebraska. And either of those games play Michigan. And then you've got the Final Four, and then you got the Big Ten Championship. And that is going to be Indianapolis Sunday, March 6th. So I will do a bracket in Tuesday's episode for that. So stay tuned for that. Which leads me to my announcement for March Madness. So we are starting to get close to March Madness. I think Selection Sunday is the 13th. That Sunday. Stay tuned for that because we are going to do a live bracket for both the men and women. What's most likely going to happen is in Tuesday's episode, it's going to be kind of a heavy episode, so be tuned in for that because there are some teams I feel like definitely might not make it, could make it on the bubble. And also, too, we're going to do our player of the year, defensive player, coach of the year, freshman of the year for both men and women. So definitely be tuned in for that for March Madness. Now, let's transition into Towson Basketball. Now, Towson actually also, too, we're actually starting to wrap it up as ourselves. The men, they beat James Madison 95-59. We got one more game, and that's Delaware. It's a home game for us. Now, this game is going to be a resumption of the suspended game on the 27th because due to, I believe it was something about the ceiling of the arena. So we're going to pick that game up. I'm trying to figure out what the score was in that game. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out. Let's look real quick. I think we were losing at this point in the game, I want to say. Yeah, so the game was stopped with 18 minutes, with 18:42 in the second half, and we were down 38-29. So, yes, I think that's how they're going to pick it up. I'm not sure they're just going to start all over again or just pick up from that, but I would really seriously doubt. I'm pretty sure they're going to pick up where they left off. So, I will say that we're going to win that game. We're going to come back 87-80.
Guaranteed.
The CAA tournament from the 5th until March 8th. That's a Tuesday in D.C. for the men. For the ladies, we actually got two more games. We beat Northeastern, 57-56 by a bucket and beat Hofstra 73-50. We got the University of Delaware the 3rd and Drexel on the 5th of March. And then we got the CAA tournament for the ladies the 10th through the 13th. I'm going to hold off on those guarantees until Tuesday's episode for the ladies. So the ladies are going into the year, actually 22-5, 5-game win streak, 11-1 at home, 9-4 on the road. And we're 13-3 in the conference. I'm really hoping that we could get in there and make March Madness. I really do. Let me look back at the men real quick. Hold on. The men are 27-3, 6-game winning streak, 14-3 in the conference, 11-2 at home, and 11-4 on the road. So I'm not mad at that. I can really see both teams making March Madness. I could see that. I could. Let's transition into the WNBA. Really, there's only really a couple things. I do know that at the beginning talked about what's going on over in Europe. There are some of our basketball players, particularly in WNBA, that they are making plans. Some of them do play in Russia, and there's some that are actually planning on leaving. There's not just women athletes, but men athletes as well. The Play Association has followed closely to it. I know, like Jonquel Jones, for example, is over there. Yeah, it's a mess. I'm praying for their safety and their return safely back home. So, yeah. From what I understand, I read an article. Here it is, quote. It's saying, I've been on the phone with 2 players in the past few minutes working out flights. It's really urgent now in terms of building numbers of flights leaving Russia, and they're getting hard. It's going to be hard to get real soon. They'll probably be fine if they stay put, but if things get worse, that may not be the case. So, damn. I'm really praying for their safety and their return. So, the union said we've been in constant communication with our members and their representatives for several weeks. We'll continue to stay abreast of the current events. We are a union for the 144 all year round, and their safety is our highest concern. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much it. I'm also left with the support, not just just across the global community. Like I said, I know Ariel Atkins her team is in Bulgaria right now. Jonquel, I think her team's in Russia. So, I mean, that's pretty much. Other than that, I mean, Liz Cambage had her press introductory conference with the Sparks. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at see who else was I can think of that's overseas. Oh no, Arella Garantes. She was with. I think she was on the team in the Ukraine, and she's back now. And then Leona Odom too. So there was a couple other examples. That's others I could think of. I know. No, they don't play. They play for a team in Turkey. Never mind. So I'm just really liking the support that I'm seeing. I do. I really, really do. I know Joyner Holmes and Ariel Atkins played together. So yeah, that's been kind of on my mind since fall started, because I know I tried to follow some of their games on YouTube. I find the highlights. It's hard to actually find the games because sometimes it's like morning over there, and it's like really like around this time I'm asleep. So I try to really catch up on all the games and follow up. Oh, how did Ariel Atkins do in this game, or how did so this that's what I try to do. So I mean, besides that, I'll get back to Liz Cambage. She had her introductory press conference with the Sparks, and she was on ESPN with Malika Andrews. I can't think of who else that was sitting on the other side of her. She came out. She pretty much said, what she felt about, the whole thing with Becky Hammon. Because remember, she came out in that post and, Becky Hammon getting $1 million contract as a coach, and then Liz Cambage was like, how, can you give a coach that and you're not giving the players that kind of money? She was happy for Becky getting the money, but like it comes down to the players. Like she said she was all happy for Becky. Um, Now, what's weird is that according to the CBA, and I had to go back and look at my research, salaries are not bargained, collectively bargained. Only the players are. And again, this was in January 2020 when that agreement was agreed upon. Um, the same thing, the same CBA that has a lot of issues when it comes to air travel. And also too, that's one of the things that stand out the most. She also said that Mark Davis was the owner for the Las Vegas Aces. He wanted to charter a flight for the finals, but that wasn't allowed. And I quote, this is what she said. So we're on a 5:30 bus back to the airport to get back to Vegas for Game 5. And I'm sitting there going like, whoa, okay. She says she just wants the best for women's sports, and I agree with that. I do feel like, again, it says more about the league. I don't understand what the issue is. I mean, the same issue. It's weird that the league doesn't allow the owners to make exemptions for charter flights. I know back when we played back in 2019, when Las Vegas played us, they had to practically rush them here to DC. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, also too, like, where did I really wish the CBA could be fixed, but that thing will be fixed for another couple years. And I'm hoping that before everybody reads it, I'm not saying no one reads it. I'm just saying that there definitely has to be some changes to it. It really, really does. Because you have, I mean, not just with flights, but I mean, you got players publicly speaking out on not just about flights, but contracts. There needs to be, and I agree with it, does need to be incentives in contracts. You know, it makes no sense that, for example, if Asia Wilson won the MVP, she should get a bonus. Brianna Jones, most improved player, bonus. Made the All-Star team, bonus. First team, second team, bonus. There should be bonuses in their contract. I don't understand how you cannot have that. And then on top of that, first round picks, I think there needs to be some sort of protection in terms of guaranteed contracts. And I also think you need to expand the roster to 15. Now I know what you're saying, Nathan. You're not going to play all 15 players. I understand that, but let's see, a lot of this talent is not getting any opportunities. It sucks. It really does. I understand this is a business, but at the same time, you know, I really think that I look at this, the league. I think the league, the W is not. The WNBA holds itself back. And I think everybody knows that. And when I don't understand how you have fans and players telling you this is how it should be, and it goes in one ear, it goes out the other. That's why I said in the last video, as a fan, if I'm new, and let's just say I'm completely new to the game, please tell me what is your target audience, and what is your goal? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense that these things still haven't been addressed. And that's before Kathy Engelbert, and even now, like, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Now, As far as free agency, like I said, pretty much everybody's made their moves. We're all getting ready for the draft. At this point, I just seen a lot of training camp contracts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nathan, you are doing a mock draft. So I'm going to do a mock draft for the WNBA draft that's coming up, which they still have not given the date for, and they still haven't even given the date for the All-Star game. So that tells me that it's most likely going to be in July at some point. There's just this big gap. I mean, I think it was July 10th, but it doesn't even really say. It didn't. So, it's saying that it's going to be played on July 10th. More information about the All-Star Weekend will be forthcoming. Pre-game activities. Okay. Anywho, we don't know when the draft's going to be. So you're probably only going to see 2 mock drafts for me. I'm almost done with this mock draft. You'll see that in Tuesday's episode. This is just I consider this 1.0. This is without trades. This is who could be drafted in each round. Now, I went by what just each team could need. Now, there was a couple teams I feel like that just need filler in positions. And probably that second mock draft, that's where it's going to be a trade, because Lynn Dunn's now taking over for the Indiana Fever, taking Tamika Catchings' position. And Lynn Dunn looks like that type of person that's like, well, okay, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. And I could see a trade definitely being made. I could. The Mystics, I don't know what Mike T-Bolt's going to do. Just something tell me he won't throw me off with that pick. He gonna do something with that pick. You're definitely gonna look up for that. Definitely gonna look up for the mock draft Tuesday's episode. So it's gonna be a heavy episode Tuesday, but stay tuned. It's gonna be a good episode. And then we're gonna finally recap Athletes Unlimited. It was the end of 5 good weeks of basketball. Something new, something different. Was a breath of fresh air. If you told me 5 weeks ago, like, that thing would come, but I think it'd come to an end this fast, I would say no. I wish there was more basketball. They did announce that they are coming back for next year. I think the biggest thing is they're probably going to have to expand to more teams. I mean, it was just really great. At first, I was kind of like, I was a little optimistic. Like, okay, this is not like, to me, this just looked like a league where, okay, well, like, this player didn't get this opportunity, so they're going to go here. But no, when I started doing my research and understanding what AU is, this was a league where you have women that are betting on themselves and taking a chance and walking out on faith. And that's what I saw with these 44 women. They walked out on faith. They took a chance and bet on themselves. And guess what? They've played the best damn basketball for 5 weeks that I ever saw. Now, some of my guarantees actually may have come true, and I didn't realize it. Let's start with week 5. Team Cloud beat Team Harrison 88-78. Team Hawkins beat Team Brown 80-70. Team Brown beat Team Cloud 97-88. Team Hawkins beat Team Harrison 85-74. Team Brown beat Team Harrison 103-90. And then in triple overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
What? And you got to be kidding me.
Team Hawkins beat Team Cloud 116-111. Wow. That game actually had on the edge of my seat. It really did. That was a good game. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Tiana Hawkins, as she was the inaugural champion for Athletes Unlimited. She finished the year. I look, say what you want. I definitely, this is how I feel. I definitely feel like I don't know again where these narratives came from of actually I'm gonna hold off on that. I want you to actually, you know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. Really quick before I play the video, she finished the year with 686 points in every pretty much category. She led the league in rebounds, second chance points, and she also too broke her own record not once but twice. 43 points in the game, leaderboard points 790, and also 219 field goals. And also to finish off the top four was Natasha Cloud with 5,919 points, Isabel Harrison 5,373 points. Lexi Brown, 5,317 points. Kalani Brown finished off the top five with 5,192 points. And Odyssey Sims finished off with 5,043 points. Keeping in mind Mercedes Russell, she didn't play all of week 4. Couple other players didn't play. I think Thais Knox didn't play. I think she was injured. Danny McCray was out for week 3. Started as a week 3. She didn't play. And yes, Essence Carson didn't play in week 4. Kelsey Mitchell was with Team USA for the qualifier games. Courtney Williams finished in the top 10. I think like the first week because on COVID protocols. Actually, the top 5, the top 10, I'm not surprised. Actually, were pretty damn good. I'm not surprised at all. So, let me play the clip and let me just say this just for the record because I'm on record for saying this. Trust your eyes. Okay, I've followed Tiana Hawkins since her time at the University of Maryland, and as a Mystic fan, I know what she brings to the table. It bothers me when these narratives come out about these players. Oh, they're not this, they're not that. Because there was a lot of people, and those people know who they are on Twitter, other social media, saying, "Oh, she's trash. She can't do this. She needs to hang it up." It's really interesting, and it's not just with her; it's with other athletes too. It's really interesting to know that when people make those comments, one, you're not watching the games. Number two, it just your biggest, it's always, I was always told your critics are your biggest motivators, and you have to go out and prove people wrong. You do. But also, too, those same people that you prove wrong will find some way to go. I never doubted him for 1 second. BS. And you know who those people are, and you make sure that you're make sure when you criticize, make sure that when you're writing checks, make sure you can cash them without being diarrhea at the mouth. So let me play the clip really quick. Because, yes, I got some more things to say. I do. That's not it. What is this? Oh, there we go.
My journey in basketball has been one for the books. It has not been easy. Every day that I have attained, I've had to work my ass.
Absolutely.
And so, this moment right here, can nobody take this from me?
Ain't nobody
I did one thing this offseason that I probably shouldn't have did, and that was speak to WNBA Twitter in general. So many people counted me out.
You a dog.
Said I was trash.
You a dog.
Said I wasn't gonna be good enough. Atlanta said that I wasn't enough. You know what I did? I got my ass in the gym. I worked on myself. Here I am.
Those were the things that were said, people. This is what I saw. I saw somebody that, one, I told you I followed since the University of Maryland. She's a mother. I know what she can bring to the table. She can bring a lot to a WNBA team. I don't understand, like, when we come with these comments, what are you watching? What I saw with the, when the same team that sits there and says, well, we're not going to bring you back because we just don't believe in you. It's the same team that was trash. The same team that had Odyssey Sims. The same team that had Kalani Brown, Courtney Williams, Kennedy Carter. The same team that has been irrelevant for the last now going on a few years now. Again, this whole league, these last 5 weeks, I've seen but nothing but these women betting on themselves, walking on faith, and taking a chance. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a determination. That's heart, discipline, determination. That's what champions look like. I'm calling it. Tiana Hawkins is making the All-Star team this upcoming season.
Guaranteed.
It's amazing to me with these narratives that have been created. And again, sometimes too, I'm going to keep it real this time. WNBA, Twitter period. I mean, in my opinion, all social media, in my personal opinion, is toxic. I mean, there are people that say things that are diarrhea at the mouth, but it's amazing to me that a team, because I'll be honest with you, if a team came out and said, we're not going to take a chance on you, we wish you all the best, that means you didn't utilize my potential. You didn't utilize me to the best of your ability as a coach. I'll give you an example, right? Because remember, they signed her to a 2-year deal. Now I'm thinking, like, okay, because I'll be honest, I wasn't hurt, but I was really sad that we didn't re-sign her. We should have. The team wasn't that good. I mean, when you go through not one, not two, but 3 head coaching changes, you got issues off the court. We're not going to talk about that. We've already addressed that. And it's the same team that didn't do diddly poo in offseason and free agency. Had all the money to spend to get a free agent, didn't do shit. But we'll come out and say, well, Tiana, like, you know what, after 1 year, we don't believe me. We don't think you're that good enough. Like, what the hell are you looking at? What are you watching? What gives you the determination after one season to go, nah? Because if you ask me, I think you're smoking something. And lets me know that the Atlanta Dream. I'm telling you, Tiana Hawkins, Odyssey Sims, Courtney Williams, Kalani Brown. I believe Odyssey Sims will be on the roster. If they all have good seasons, which I believe they will.
Guarantee.
The Atlanta Dream as an organization are trash.
Guarantee.
I'm not talking about as a basketball team. I'm talking about as a front office. Because there's no way in hell after 1 year, nah. I mean, just hearing that, hearing her say that makes me feel great. She just didn't get. I mean, she didn't just get the opportunities in Atlanta that she thought she did. I thought she couldn't have gotten DC. That's what I saw. So this is, to me, a year of motivation. This is a year of. I'm happy for her. I really am. I can't wait to see. Her and Natasha Cloud. I cannot wait to see him in the Mystic uniform. I can't wait. Because watch out. It's going to be one pretty good damn year of basketball. And to close that off, because I got some other stories I want to share, that I read on AUProsports.com. The article that was done by Khristina Williams. Did not some of the stuff about Tiana did not know. I didn't know when she was with the Mystics at the time she was pregnant. I didn't even know that she had to take on a job work in a call center. I didn't know that. I do remember she went overseas to play for France. Like this, some of the things that she was saying, like I was like, damn, because I know in the new CBA, they get guaranteed paid leave, maternity leave, and then child care, which is like $5,000, and then more family planning and motherhood incentives. At the time, before that, they didn't have that. She talked about in the article that Khristina wrote, saying that she got an extra interview with Darius Taylor. That at the time was their interim head coach, and they were like, "Yeah, no." And I quote, "It didn't register me that I had just gotten fired." She said in the phone conversation that the team's concerned about her skill level and not being up to expectation. The organization didn't think sure she would improve. May I remind you that she only averaged less than 5 points and under 4 rebounds. I don't think that was her worst year. I said the same thing about Kalani Brown. What opportunities did you give her in Atlanta? I didn't see that. And I like the fact that she, in the article, went on to continue that, she worked on developing her game and also self-care, which I think that's important. I mean, to the point where you're in the article where it was saying that it got for her so bad, her breaking point, where she was actually saying, do I even want to play basketball anymore? Like Cindy Colston reaching out to her. Like it's one. This is just me as a young Christian. This is just me as I do believe that God tests you in your highs and your lows, how you handle each situation, how do you carry yourself in each situation, how you carry yourself in that situation. And Tianna Hawkins, with poise and strength and faith, has shown that anything is possible, and that makes me feel great. Because I'll be honest with you, there are days where I feel like, damn, is this what I want to do? My focus on communicate and mass communications and journalism and media, is this something I even want to pursue? There are days I have like damn, what's the point of this? But it's all about stepping out on faith and betting on yourself. And look at the results. Envy, the inaugural champion. She's back home. Like, things are going in the right direction for her. And I'm really proud of her. I'm really happy for her. I cannot see her. I can't wait to see her back in the back on that court in a few months. It was just a crazy 5 weeks, but also too, Lexi Brown, the same thing. Clowney Brown, Tasha Clark. I could go. The list can go on and on. It just words can't describe. Like, look, a champion, a champion, a heart of a champion. All of them. All for the last 5 weeks. All hearts of champions. Best damn basketball I ever saw. And I can't wait to see what they're going to bring to the table. I wish all of them could be in the WNBA. But look, it's all about investing in each other. It's all about, again, like I said, taking a chance on yourself, walking on faith. Now, I do also have to congratulate. I have to go with the awards. So the award ceremony was actually nice. I actually liked it. So CeCe Andrews took home the Sportsmanship Award. Congratulations. I always say just go on Twitter. Look at the CeCe Andrews highlights AAU, because she definitely brings a lot of energy to the floor. I like it. So the Sportsmanship Awards an individual who exemplifies attributes, good character, integrity, and sportsmanship, and that's definitely what CeCe Andrews did. Also, too, Isabel Harrison, she got Defensive Player of the Year as well. So congratulations for her on that. And then also, too, like I said, Tianna Hawkins, MVP inaugural champion. So, yeah, man, congratulations to all of them that participated. I can't wait till next year. But I also can't wait toward the WNBA season. I got a few more stories like that I want to share that were written on the A Pro U Sports, because their stories need to be shared, and their stories need to be told and they need to be heard. And again, congratulations to Tiana Hawkins. I doubt she'll ever see this. Congratulations. I can't wait to see you back out there on the floor with the Mystics, and the Washington Mystics are winning the championship. Let's go.
Guaranteed.
With that being said, I'm out. Y'all have a good day. Have a good night, good evening, wherever you are. I'll see y'all Tuesday. Stay out.
Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.